One of the things that we need to do is when we have a problem, we have to be compassionate to ourselves. I could sit here and go back to 1999 when I lost 100 pounds at Weight Watchers and think about gaining it back. In 2003 and 2004, I didn't want to leave the house because I knew people would see me and go, oh, Ellen gained all her weight back. Oh, she's such a failure. And people would say that. They would. They'd look at me and go, wow, you put back on all that weight. And it's always like when people say to me, boy, you're tall. I'm like, wow, I didn't know that. Thank you. I didn't know I was tall. It's like they state the obvious. And what are you supposed to say? Thank you for calling that to my attention. I'm so glad you mentioned that I put all the weight back on. And one of the things that I really like about what happened to me this past year is no matter what happened, this, that, problems, good times, bad times, I didn't put the weight back on. It's okay not to always lose as long as you're not gaining. That can be a benefit. Now, if you are a compulsive eater and you resolve after a binge to do better tomorrow, but you're sitting there with that cat o' nine tails and you're saying, you fat thing, you loser, or I hear very negative things that you say at the scale, and I want to say, love yourself. There's only one of you. We have to be compassionate. But don't come in at the scale and tell me what you weighed buck naked in the morning. That's 3 people did that tonight. At 6 o'clock this morning, I didn't weigh this buck naked. Don't tell me that. By the way, from 6 o'clock this morning till now, you got clothes, you got liquids. I always say from 6 in the morning till now, there's 5 pounds. So all of you can subtract 5 pounds from your weight and go home and feel very good about yourself. So that's one thing. Also, you get stuck in that way of thinking and you overthink it. You think, you know what? I haven't lost weight, and you know, and God doesn't love me, and I don't even want to go to pray it off. And then Ellen, she doesn't say anything at the scale, but I know what she's thinking. She thinks I eat bacon, and she thinks I'm eating cheeseburgers, and I just don't want to go anymore. Here's the thing. If you don't come, you're not, it does hurt me, but not in the way you think. It hurts me because I feel what we're doing here is important for our lives and for our health. And I think that light bulbs go off at different times in people's lives. You have different light bulb moments when you go, I get it now, or I can do this now. And sometimes you go through the motions for a while, and that's okay too. And you have the light bulb moment, but you gotta love yourself. I never looked at the models or anybody's house and said, I want to be them. Even when I was fat, even fatter, even when I was poor, I was happy to be me. There's only one me. There's only one you. We need to be kind to ourselves. It doesn't mean we let ourselves off the hook. It doesn't mean that we say, I love myself at 300 pounds and I don't care if the world loves me. You got to love yourself well. You got to love yourself to the point where your health is as important as saying, you know what? And you know, I haven't worked in an office in 10 years. Let me tell you, I have such compassion for you people that I didn't have before. Biscotti's carrot cake, jelly donuts, cookies, croissants, breakfast pizza. And you know, I walk by it like this and I'm like, sometimes I go, are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? You know, here I run a weight loss group and I'm looking at it like, and then I'm thinking, then you sit at your desk and you're doing your work and then you do that. You go, oh, just a little piece won't hurt. Well, maybe if I ride the bike an extra mile tomorrow, maybe I can have this. And then it becomes like an obsession with you, and you're like, well, you know, what if I just had a donut? Would it be so bad? And then I'm thinking, why am I letting this food almost, I've had Biscotti's carrot cake, I've had jelly donuts, I've had breakfast pizza, not a lot of it, I really don't do breakfast pizza, but I've had it before. But all of a sudden, the food becomes almost like a person standing there. And then I realize sometimes I'm a little afraid of food. Can anyone relate to that? Sometimes I'll go to a party and I'm like afraid, like, oh, look at the buffet, oh my gosh. And I play these games with myself, like, people didn't wash their hands, okay, I got that. Oh, did someone sneeze? I bet you they sneezed on the biscotti's carrot cake, yep. I'm not gonna have that. You know, and then I sit there and I go, I am afraid sometimes of food. Or people say, did you go to the fair? I'm like, no fair for me. I think everyone remembers my take on the fair. But we have to be kind. Here's one thing that's gotten me through. I said, and I even did this one day. On Wednesday, they had the biscotti's carrot cake, and anyone who knows me knows carrot cake really is one of my triggers. I got a little Tupperware dish. I cut a piece. I put it in there, and I said, I am going to have that Thursday night when I get home from pray it off. And I knew it was there, it's in the fridge. Sometimes I go like this. Make sure, and I had to write, Vince, don't touch. Put a little note in there, make sure no one touches. And then, you know, I worked really hard, and it wasn't a big piece, and then Thursday night after pray it off, I sat there and I was like, oh, this is so good. But it was called delayed gratification, and a little piece, you have it then. I can't believe what you guys are eating sometimes on Wednesday and Thursdays, because this is where we come on Thursday night, you know. Save it. Eat it later. Also, we have to be thankful. I hear terrible stories like about, you know, Teresa and Kathy and Tom, what they're going through. And it doesn't make my problem seem as big. We're not dealing with life and death things here. We're dealing with a jelly donut versus not having a jelly donut. We tend to take these things so seriously. Poor me, I can't have the jelly donut. I want to live. I've showed people that little granddaughter's picture. I want to be the kind of grandmother that, I never had a grandfather. They died. My grandfather was a railroad engineer. He was a smoking, drinking, 42 years old, boom, gone, heart attack. I don't want to do that. I want to be there when Vince has children. I want to be there when Vince graduates from high school. That's a few years from now. But I remember when I had him, I looked in the future and I said, whoa, I'm going to be 59 when he graduates from high school. I hope I make it. I hope I make it. That's what we want to do. We want to say, jelly donut, see my grandkid graduate. Graduate. Wow, I didn't even think of that one. Yeah. Graduate. My grandkid graduate. Yeah, I'd like to see that. Okay, how am I doing, Bob? Let's stop this one. All right, and then the last